right, hello and a very warm welcome to all of you jointly. Welcome to this online briefing on the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform. I'm Mia Itanen from the Interreg Europe Joint Secretariat, and I will be your host today. Together with my colleagues and our excellent lineup of speakers, we will take you through what the Policy Learning Platform is and how you can make use of it for your region. We have about an hour reserved for this session with quite a few speakers, so let's have a quick look at the agenda and get going. There are 6 speakers altogether, keeping you company this morning. We're going to start with a quick overview of Interreg Europe with our director, Erwin Severis. We'll then have some words from the European Commission from Sławomir Tokarski, who will put things in the broader EU context. We will then continue with Torsten Kolesch from the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform. He will explain what the platform is and how you can make use of it. And we will hear from 2 beneficiaries how they've already done that. So we'll speak with Raman Tam from Tartu, Estonia, about how they've used the peer review in their city. And we'll talk to Rose Power from Ireland, about how they've been using the platform for their project implementation and to enrich their project work. Finally, we'll conclude with a quick look at the future with Hassan Martinez from our Joint Secretariat. So there's quite a few things to cover. And as I've been saying, I do want you to be part of this session as well. So make use of the chat. Ask your questions. We'll be taking them throughout the session after the presentations and answering them in the chat as well. So post your comments, post your questions, post your remarks, and let's make it an interactive discussion. With that, I see that Erwin is already waiting to get started. But before we go there, I just want to know a little bit more about who's here with us today. We have a little poll, and we're going to launch it now to get some feedback from you in terms of how well you know Interreg Europe. Are you already familiar with us? Are you maybe involved in some of the projects? Have you used the policy learning platform already? Perhaps you know us from another context. And a little specification here, I am talking about Interreg Europe, which is a very unique program amongst the Interreg family. You'll soon hear how and for what reasons, but do tell us how well you know us. I see that you've already answered. That is excellent. Some more responses coming in. Looking like an interesting split. Last 3 seconds to tick on your response. If you don't have access to the poll, you can also post your comment in the chat and let us know if you know us or not. But we are going to close the poll now and have a look at the results. As you see, it's a pretty even split. There are some who know us quite well, maybe are already involved, some who know us a little bit, and also some newcomers who have a little bit less experience. So Erwin, with that, I will leave the floor to you and let you tell us more about Interreg Europe.
Yeah, thank you, Mia, and welcome also from my side to all of you. And I see we have quite a number of participants from the competitor region. I saw the pool. Mia, thank you for this. So I know that about half of you know the program quite well, but I also see that about 20% still need some information what Interreg Europe is about. This is my job this morning, and let's kick off. Just a few words on the Interreg family. Interreg is a family which has mainly 3 pillars. The cross-border pillars, you see here the figures, which the most programs which deals with cross-border problems. So we have you see here 60 internal borders and more or less also the same number of Interreg programs for dealing with the cross-border. We have 10 transnational programs, the second pillar. About 2.1 billion euros go into these transnational programs. Transnational programs combine a certain number of regions in Europe being together, being the Baltic Sea, being the North Sea, Mediterranean Sea, which have some common grounds, being the sea or Alpine Space is another program, which deals with problems which these regions share and according to the location. And then we have the interregional strand, which are then subdivided in 3 programs. So in the interregional strands, we have Interreg Europe. I will give you a few more information soon. There is an Interreg program, which is an internal program which helps to connect all the Interreg programs, and we are about more than 100 Interreg programs to let them exchange between them and to learn from each other. There's an urban program which deals with urban innovation and urban development, and then an ESPON program which allows regions to have scientific support for their problems. The biggest program in the interregional cooperation is the Interreg Europe program. And what are we doing? The program is, main purpose of the program is to allow regions to work together. I say there is no problem in Europe, no problem with an European region where there is not already a solution implemented in any other region. So if a region has an issue to solve, for sure, there are regions in Europe who dealt with the same problems, who have found solutions. And we allow these regions, all regions in Europe, to work together to find out what they have done, what worked, but also what not worked, learn from each other, and then take the conclusion and implement. So this is the main purpose in a nutshell of the program. We're dealing with 4 different thematic priorities. You see the budget, and 30 countries, all EU countries, UK, Norway and Switzerland, all these countries and the region from these countries cooperate in our program and allow regions in Europe to access the knowledge of each other. What makes us unique? I mentioned already the geographical coverage. No other program allows a cooperation of regions across Europe, from the far north to the far south, including the French colonies, Guadeloupe and Martinique and etc. From Cyprus to the far north island and going beyond. We have in the program involved 90%, more than 90% of the regions in Europe cooperate in Interreg Europe, are using the tools of Interreg Europe to share, to learn from each other. So I think this is quite a good tool for regions to get knowledge from other regions, and the regions are using it. What else? The program focus on policy improvements. Here we are different from the other programs, what I mentioned already, the Strand A, the cross-border programs, the transnational programs. These 2 family members are more on activities, on actual improvements on the ground. We want to allow the regions to improve policies, to learn from each other, change policy tools, and then implement based on the knowledge they gained from other regions, and then implement the solutions on the ground. Therefore, the core focus of our program are policymakers. We want to have policy improvements, so we need the policymakers, and it's a core target group, public authorities. Again, focus exchange of experience. Then another tool which is quite specific, and it's the main purpose of the session today, is the policy learning platform. We have Thorsten Polisch here, who will later on give further details, so I will not spend much time on this tool here. But just to say, we are the only program, Interreg program. First of all, we started with a policy learning platform in the way we did, which will be presented later this morning. I can say it's very successful, and it will be continued also in the future to anticipate a little bit concerning the policy learning platform. Just to summarize a little bit, we call ourselves Accelerator for Regional Development because of the issues what I tell. Regions in Europe get knowledge from other regions, what works, what is a proved solution. They take it on board, and based on this increased knowledge, on this learning effect, they do investment, doing smart investment. So that's the reason why I think we avoided regions do try and fail, try and test, and they do have a smart approach, getting to know solutions in Europe and implement. What is also important for our program, we are a program, a European program, and the partner states requires the program that in all projects we have on board, there is a mix of more and less advanced regions. So we are a cohesion program, and here this plays an important role. We help especially the less advanced regions to catch up with the more advanced, with the more developed regions. Also important, new element in this program is the requirement that all partners involve stakeholders from the ground in the project. If there's a project on environment development, we ask them bring on board the NGOs which are dealing with environmental issues. If you have a project on economic development, bring on board the small and middle-sized enterprises. These are the stakeholders. This is a requirement what we put, and this is not in any other of the EU. We focus very much on the results, and this is also what our project is a little bit suffering. We always ask, what have you achieved? What are your indicators? And here we insist a lot, and also check the projects submitting some numbers. We want to have proof that these achievements are also realized and not just on the paper. A few words on the achievements so far. We had already in 4 calls committed all the funds. We running almost 260 projects all over Europe. More than 2,000 partners, and you saw them are involved. I mentioned already 90% of all regions in Europe are working with Interreg Europe, are involved in a project of Interreg Europe. All countries are in. Then a few figures concerning the outputs. We have so far 680 policy changes reported. 400 out of them are in structural funds program. This is another item of our program. We demand the projects to improve structural funds programs. And here you see 60% of the policy improvements are reported in structural funds programs. And then what is also important, especially for the finance people, we always they always ask, what is the money worth for? And we can say with the 225 million euros which are spent in these 176 projects which reported already results, the others are still in implementation mode, we have triggered investments on the ground of more than 1.3 billion euros. I think this is a leverage effect of about 6, meaning €1 invested in Interreg Europe triggers investments of €6 on the ground. And here you see that the region using the program exactly as it meant. We allow the regions to get the knowledge from around Europe and to do then smart decisions, smart investment, and this is figured out here in this result. Policy learning platform, I don't spend the time on this because soon afterwards we have Thorsten Kohlisch who will give you all the input on the policy learning platform. I think that's it for me at the moment. I give the floor back to Mia.
Thank you, Erwin. That was a very nice, quick overview of us and what Interreg Europe does. I hope this gives you all a better idea of what kind of program we are and what kind of activities we facilitate and support. And that should also give you an idea of what might be possible for you. We will soon dive a little bit deeper into the policy learning platform dimension of all of this. But before that, as I mentioned, we will also have a quicker look at how this all fits in the bigger scheme of things. And to do that, we have a short speech by Sławomir Tokarski, the Director of Unit D from European Territorial Cooperation Macroregions Interreg Programs Implementation Unit in DG Regional Policy and Urban Policy. As you see, he has a position that allows him to give you an idea of where this fits in a bigger scheme of things. We are just waiting for Sławomir Tokarski to connect, and we'll have him with you in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, because I noticed that quite a few of you are indeed already quite familiar with the program, do post a quick comment in the chat or let us know what you've already done. Do you already have some experience of some of the policy learning platform services, or is your experience more from the project side? That would also be very useful info for Thorsten as he starts talking about the platform later on, so that we know kind of if you are already familiar with some of these additional services that we provide, because this is indeed one of the unique parts of our program. It's a very distinct feature that is not offered by the other Interregs. Let's see if we have Sławomir here. Yes, indeed we do. Are we ready to hear some words from the European Commission?
Yes,
yes.
Hello, good
I
morning.
leave the floor to you.
I understand that you can hear me. So, dear members of the European Committee of Regions, dear Interreg colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, thank you very much for this opportunity to address you today and to participate in your seminar. And I have to say that the Commission is, and I am personally very pleased to see that the members of the Committee of Regions are here today to see with their own eyes the excellent work that the policy learning platform is doing. And I hope also that this meeting will be a further step towards deeper cooperation between our regions in Europe. As you know, there are over 240 regions in the EU, each with different strengths and weaknesses. It is certainly challenging for the continent's cohesion, but it's also a rich source of ideas and creativity. So strengthening the EU cohesion through solidarity and cooperation is one of the key working principles of the European Union. And I think those two words, cooperation and solidarity, are very needed in our times when we hear so much about divisions and the polarization of our society. Now, in particular, providing opportunities for cooperation among more and less developed regions in joint projects is the best way to reduce regional disparities in the EU, and the Commission supports such cooperation through a number of Interreg programs. But Interreg Europe is very unique because it is the only Interreg program that covers all EU countries. The program improves the performance of regional development policies through capacity building. And finally, it is the only Interreg program offering, beyond projects, permanent policy learning opportunities and expert support for free to anyone interested in Europe through its policy learning platform. So under Interreg Europe, organizations from regions across Europe can share solutions and good practices. In other words, why reinvent the wheel when another region has found a solution to a similar regional development problem? So cooperation is always a win-win scenario, and it is the very heart of the European project. We can all learn from each other. Even those from the most developed regions can find inspiration for improving their own regional development policies when meeting and talking to policymakers from others less developed regions. So let me end up by the quotation from my boss, President van der Leyen, who mentioned last week in her speech on the State of the Union, "Let's make Europe stronger together." And I wish you all to find some inspiration in today's session, which you will take back to your regions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and I couldn't agree more. Let's work together for the benefit of us all. I think that's an excellent message to take away from this session overall, and we want to give you some tools to do just that. Let's go deeper into it. As I said, it's time to move to discussing the policy learning platform, and there's no better person to do that with than Thorsten Kohlisch, the project manager of the Interreg Europe policy learning platform. So without further ado, I'll leave the floor to Thorsten, who will tell you more about the platform. Keep posting your questions if you have any. We'll take some right after the presentation, and then we'll also hear from actual experiences of how the platform has been used. Now, with this, Thorsten, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much, Mia. First, to double check if you can hear me, if you see the slides. Yes, of course. Also a big thank you to Erwin Sieveris for the introduction and Mr. Tokarski for your encouraging words. Well, we will do our best as a team of Interreg Europe, the policy learning platform, to bring the words into practice. Indeed, as stressed by Erwin Sieveris, dear participants, dear audience, the policy learning platform is the second pillar of the Interreg Europe program. What I would like to stress, the policy learning platform goes hand in hand with the projects funded by the program. Because we build, you have seen the figures, nearly 90% of all regions involved, more than 2,000 organizations from all across Europe. We build on all their knowledge, expertise, policy solutions when implementing the platform. Basically, we capitalize, this is our buzzword, we capitalize on the results achieved by the nearly 260 Interreg Europe projects. What does capitalization mean? Basically, we make all the knowledge, the good practices, the policy solutions available to all local and regional authorities in Europe, whether they are involved in projects or not. And furthermore, we complement the funding provided to projects by providing ad hoc possibilities for interregional learning, which do not require project participation. We do that with our knowledge hub, our community, and our expert policy support services. And if I say we, first and foremost, dear colleagues, let me refer to our team of experts actively providing the services. You see, for the 4 policy priorities of the program, from innovation to environment, we have per priority 2 or 3 experts on board. And let me tell you in more detail what our colleagues are doing in practice. A truly international, truly European team of experts, first and foremost, analyzing, validating all the good practices, the policy solutions coming up from projects, from regions, making sure that they can be accessed by everybody who is interested. We feature them in publications, policy briefs, in webinars, workshops, newsletters. Well, I could talk for hours about these services, but I think better than telling long speeches about our services, let me invite you to test them in practice. Hopefully this slide will create some appetite, some interest. On the left-hand side, you can see some of the good practices which are available in the good practice database from different parts, from different regions of Europe, very concrete solutions, sustainable mobility, low carbon economy, but also examples, stories, how good practices from one region can influence the policies of other regions. The same holds true for our webinars, workshops, of course, workshops held over the last 18 months, mainly online, still in an interactive way, providing complementary views on the subject, also giving the floor to the European Commission about your latest European trends. But again, instead of me telling you what you can see and read there, let me invite you, I think, Mia, the links will be shared, the presentation will be shared afterwards. Please sign up. You see some of our recent events and the previous events, the recordings are always stored online. We always keep an eye on what is happening on the ground, which topics are of high relevance for cities and regions, and we are doing our best to adjust to the needs you have. Therefore, first invitation, start your policy learning journey today by connecting with our website. Second part of my presentation, dear participants, I would like to focus on what we call the expert support services, or in other words, peer learning in practice. Basically, we are talking about 2 services, cooperation opportunities. We call them matchmakings and peer reviews. The idea is the same. Regions, cities, they have questions, challenges, ideas, put them on the table, would like to share them with other peers, practitioners from across Europe. And with our team, we are doing our best to find the most suitable peers, experts from other regions, to have very targeted, open discussions on the problems, questions, ideas at stake. Matchmaking sessions lasting for about 2 hours, very suitable for the online format, and the peer reviews for 2 full days. What I can say, both services we have launched in 2018, late 2018, and you can see on the map. Glad to report that we have beneficiaries from all across Europe, north, south, east, west. You can see just before the summer break, we were very busy serving with our experts, with our team, serving 4 peer reviews in just 2 weeks. The city of Tartu with us, very glad to have the deputy mayor with us, Raimund Tam, welcome, and we will hear your story in a couple of minutes. The message I would like to share with you, dear audience, you can see very small entities, cities, small regions making use of the service. I think this is one of the assets we can offer, that we provide easily accessible services supported by the experts. We know resources are scarce, time is limited, but I think not only, but especially for those who have limited resources, those who have not gained experience with Interreg yet, the peer review service, the matchmaking service is an opportunity to get first experience, concrete experience with European-wide cooperation. Always possible to submit an application, very easy, 2 pages only. We support the preparation, no real administrative burden. I hope our beneficiaries will confirm later. So far, feedback has been very encouraging. You may say, well, if for the expert support, the satisfaction is 100%, may trigger skepticism. But I can say with confidence, and I'm very happy to share that so far all beneficiaries have provided very positive feedback. And what was reassuring for me, that we have many beneficiaries, for instance, from France, from Catalonia, from Bulgaria, now from Germany, coming back to us with a second or even third request. And I think this is also strong motivation for the team to keep on providing and optimizing the service. Let me close the email by giving some concrete examples. Let us turn from theory to practice. Matchmaking sessions previously organized often in the framework of larger scale events, such as the EU Regions Week. For instance, here for the city of Valmiera in northern Latvia on SME support, makerspaces, but also bringing the managing authorities of different Interreg cross-border cooperation programs around the table, discussing how they can improve, they can increase the participation of SMEs in cross-border business activities. And last but not least, online from this year, very interesting example, matchmaking for the Greek region of Western Macedonia on energy efficiency, resource efficiency programs for SMEs, with very interesting practices from Hessen, Germany, and Gävleborg. And indeed, the session leading to the preparation of a pilot program in Greece, taking on board the concepts shared by the German and Swedish colleagues. Well, staying in Sweden, one of the first peer reviews was indeed for the region of Gävleborg, located north of Stockholm. Interesting case, they were the first region in the world to realize an e-highway pilot project. You see electrified road, about 2 kilometers, the big industrial players, Scania and Siemens on board. And you may wonder, well, if they were the first region in the world to test this low carbon traffic solution for heavy transport, why did they call for peer support? Because they were facing the challenge of ensuring the sustainability of this pilot project, the rollout of the technology in the region. And we had 2 very intense days, very fruitful days with Dutch and Spanish peers, our experts in Gävleborg, well, in wintertime, discussing how we could improve the governance of innovation, the governance of stakeholders, ownership, leadership, management of innovation windows were some of the key topics on the spot, leading to concrete improvements of the region's smart specialization strategy. And I would like to close by traveling to Austria, Austrian Promotional Bank, calling for support, launching or being in the process of launching an SME support program on trustworthy artificial intelligence. This program, support program for SMEs, had to be approved at national level by the Research, Technology and Development Foundation. And the bank, public bank, business support bank, decided to ask an international group, interregional group of peers to give feedback on the draft. Indeed, feedback was given by the group. You see, truly European group of peers giving feedback on the draft program, which served as an additional, you may say, quality label during the approval process. And furthermore, the colleagues went very much into detail, fine-tuning the selection criteria of the program, which indeed was approved and is now supporting SMEs from very different sectors, from e-commerce to the forest industry. Well, to summarize, what I would like to stress, I think we should not see cooperation as something on top, which you can do if you have the people, if you have the time. No, let us see cooperation, interregional policy learning as an opportunity to boost local and regional practices, local and regional policies, integrating the cooperation in the day-to-day work with your local and regional challenges. I think with Interreg Europe, we have the wealth of policy solutions at hand. We go deep into content from practitioners for practitioners. We do not stay at generic or academic levels. The services are at your disposal, are easily accessible, supported by a very committed team of experts accompanying the exchange process from A to Z. And you always have your say, you can co-shape the activities we are planning. Therefore, once again, the invitation to start your policy learning journey today, because as one of our peers from the province of North Brabant, Nicole Lambrecht, said, I will not read the full quote, but she said, well, actually, in today's world, we should never stop learning. And with these words, Mia, back to you. And of course, I hope that our beneficiaries will confirm what we aim to achieve with the policy learning platform. Thank you very much.
I certainly hope so too. Thanks a lot, Thorsten, for that overview. As you see, there really is a wealth of solutions and services. So basically all you have to do is pick the one that meets your needs. I saw an interesting comment in the chat that Dirk said that cooperation should not be something that is nice to do, but it should be a need to do. And I think, Thorsten, you would agree with me that that is exactly, completely true. We want to switch gears a little bit now and go from, okay, cooperation is nice, we should be doing it, it's very useful. Yes, but for what? Let's start talking about real experiences. To do that, our first guest speaker today, talking about the benefits of the platform services, is Raimond Tamm, the Deputy Mayor of the city of Tartu from Estonia. They've made use of the peer review service for their own city, but I will let them tell you more. So Thorsten and I will leave the floor to Raimond.
Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen. I'm really glad and please receive my warm greetings from a sunny Tartu. We are glad we still have sunshine outside and the dark period is soon to come. But today it's really sunny here. So thank you for the opportunity to share our experiences with a peer review. Our lovely city, Tartu, is the second largest city in Estonia. So Tartu is a traditional university city. And the University of Tartu was established here in 1632 already. So it's one of the oldest universities in North Europe, at least. So we really do care about the environment and worldwide climate challenges here in Tartu. Recently, our city council also approved Energy and Climate Action Plan until 2030 to efficiently tackle different challenges that are on our way.